Hi, are you an author in the middle of self-publishing your next book? Somewhere along the process, you've probably heard about creating an audiobook. You've been encouraged to make an audiobook. You know friends who've made the investment in creating an audiobook, but you can't bring yourself to get started because getting into the technical weeds just seems too daunting. But what if we could take that all away? What if we could remove 90% of the technical barriers, so all you would have to do is show up to the microphone and record? Or maybe you don't want to record your own audiobook. That's totally fine too. We have an experienced team of professional narrators that would love to audition for your audiobook. Our Done For You service guarantees that you will have a professionally produced audiobook ready for commercial release. If you're ready to get started today, please click the link below and schedule a free call. We can't wait to hear from you and to get started on your project.
Well, hello. Good afternoon, everybody, and welcome to another episode of Shine with Curiosity and Encouragement. I am author Stephen Urias. With me always is my best friend, my publisher, and just fearless leader of us all, Susan Gabriel. Hey, Susan, how you doing?
Hi, I'm great. How are you?
I'm fantastic. It's so funny. You always say that every time I introduce you. You always go, "Hi, how's it going?" Consistency. I love it. I love it.
Yes.
So we are 2 days into February, and it's Groundhog Day, and of course, Punxsutawney Phil saw his shadow because it's going to be cold.
He always
again.
does.
It's still winter. Once, Punxsutawney, just come out. Come out and be like, dude, It's going to be warm. That's hope. Give us some hope for the future.
No, it's not going to happen. I don't think I've ever seen it happen that way. Maybe it has. I don't know. I've never looked it up on the internet or anything to see, but I believe
there was I think it was like 2016 or 2017, and it was warm all winter long, and he was like, yeah, it's going to stay warm. And I think that's when the whole global warming, climate change started really taking off because Punxsutawney Phil didn't see his shadow. So now the world is going to warm.
Wow, it was his fault. Now we know who to blame.
Absolutely. Speaking of characters, we have some very cool guests today. And
yes, we do. I am so looking forward to interviewing them.
Me too. Their book is awesome. It reached bestseller on Amazon, and it features a very cool character. So without further ado, and I want to apologize, I spelled their name wrong, but I fixed it. I promise. Let me welcome you guys to the stage, BJ and Sheri of Berg. BJ and Sheri, how's it going?
Going well. How are you guys doing today?
Doing well.
Hi.
Hey, Susan.
Yeah, it's good to see you
Technical
guys.
difficulty there. I had it there for a second.
There it is. It's spelled correctly.
BJ and Sheri Berg, they are the authors of the book Omni and the Blaze Boy, which just reached Amazon bestseller status. I have the screenshot for it. And
we have many, yes.
Yeah, we have multiple
times. Yes, not just one time, but multiple times.
I know.
It's true.
Yeah. And at one point, all 3 types was like 1, 2, and 3. And we're like, yes. And so we screenshotted it.
Nice.
Yeah, that was good.
Nice.
Yeah.
That's exciting. That is absolutely exciting. Was this your guys' first book that you had written?
Yes, this is a world we have never dove into before, nor ever. If you asked us, 2 years ago, if we'd ever consider doing it, we probably would have said no. And it's just crazy that we're here now. God moves in amazing ways, and we didn't see this one coming.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
So before we go into more questions, and I think I jumped the gun a little bit on that one. Introduce yourselves to our viewers and let us know more about you guys.
Sure. Well, I'm BJ. She's Sheri. And, our journey, we both grew up actually PKs, pastors' kids, and then, grew up in the church and everything else. And we didn't actually end up meeting until we were volunteering at the same church and the same youth ministry together.
I was not volunteering. I was a paid youth pastor. And BJ was one of my volunteers.
Yes.
Who I hired him to be my intern. And then I ended up firing him so we could date.
Yes. Very,
love
very
it.
true.
So
I love it.
yeah.
Yes. And we've been happily married now for, almost 14 years.
Uh-huh.
And we've been doing some form of ministry the whole time. And now we
Yep.
have 3 amazing, rambunctious sons, ages 9, 7, and 4. And so our house is usually a chaotic mess, as you can imagine. Yep.
And loud.
Very much so.
Yes, very loud, very loud.
And
So she's now stay-home mom full time, which is more work than I do. And I work for a local fire department as a plan reviewer. So I'm reviewing building plans and such all day.
Nice.
We homeschool our boys for the first time this year.
Yes.
We started our homeschooling journey. So it's a very busy, loud house, but it's great. It's fun.
Being a father to one son, I have fingerprints all over my house. Like, how did you even reach that high for one? So I can't imagine 3 boys, just the amount of fingerprints everywhere.
Right. They can move mountains when they want to play and do something fun. You tell them to pick up one toy, it's just, they can't fathom how much work that's going to take for them to do. So,
for Christmas, I got a zip line in the backyard. So their newest thing has been tracking mud in and out of the house as they zip line across our hillside, and they love it.
Yep.
So
wait till they get old enough to co-conspire with each other.
Oh, I know.
You're just gonna have.
Yes, we are waiting. It's coming too soon, but we're waiting.
So that first scene in your book where Miles and the boys come in with mud on their boots, you guys are kind of familiar with that scene?
Oh,
yes. Very familiar.
Yes, that's a constant daily. They all have rain boots and they wear them up on the hill, rain or shine, and they come in with just muddy. We got little speckles of dirt clumps and everything else everywhere, and that's part of the life we signed up for.
It's all they wear is rain boots, even in the summer, because you can do anything in a rain boot. So.
As a boy, you probably need them because you're gonna find water somewhere somehow.
Yep.
Absolutely.
So, what made you decide to write a book?
Oh, well, like we said earlier, we have 3 sons, and our oldest son, he at a very young age was just a really good reader, avid reader. He's always been just years above his reading level. And so because of that, when he was like 7 or so, we were really struggling to find books out there that would engage with him, keep him, occupied, was also able to challenge him as far as like the words he's reading and the vocabulary, yet didn't go evil, dark, violent. We're putting things that were just too dark in our opinions into his head for his very young mind. And so we wanted to kind of try to find something out there that would protect him. He read through a few of the Narnias, and a couple of those even went a little bit like violent as far as their stories or wars or whatnot. So we decided, we kind of got inspired to just write our own book and see how that went. And we thought of it being a little more of a younger, for like 7 or 8 year olds. And apparently we overcompensated and it became a little more complicated. And now it's just a full novel that really would be hopefully entertaining for anyone from age 7 to 77.
Well, we're going to see, because my grandma's going to read it and she's 98. So I think it might go higher than 77.
We'll see.
So tell me, is your oldest son named Miles?
No. His name is Bruce. But a lot of our, a lot of our things came from our children. Bruce does have a very large birthmark. And so that was an inspiration for the blaze markings in our book. And everybody asked him what happened to your face, or what happened to, is that a bruise? Did you get hit? And he goes, oh no, God just made me this way.
Yep.
So they have definitely inspired different characters in our book and different things that, have stuck out. So,
absolutely.
Yeah. But none of their names made it in.
No. We're trying to keep them as privately out of it as we can, but definitely inspired by our kids a lot in our writings. Yes.
But some other family members' names have made it in and have inspired characters like Miss Helen. Alan Binford really does own a farm and is a farmer and grew a lot of corn. that's my grandpa and grandma. And so we are definitely inspired by those around us.
Yeah.
Nice. Now, just out of curiosity, which one of you two wrote the most?
I did the majority of the writing, yes. But boy, I would always get stuck and have to bounce ideas off of her, and we'd have nights of just talking back and forth, and my brain would be spinning, and eventually I'd be like, I got it, and I have to go and either write it down or do something like that for the next day when I can actually get back to typing and writing. The overall concept of the series and the world really came from her idea when we were talking on a road trip. I'm like, I like that. That's a really good. And we just ran with it. So it's been such a mutual project. It's definitely something that neither one of us could have done alone without the other.
Not at all. Yeah.
Absolutely.
But the word for word typing is mostly him, and then I read it and judge it.
Absolutely. Yes, she does.
And then we share our opinions for a few days, and then we come out with what we actually want.
I love it.
It's been a fun project to do together because we did youth ministry together for so long, and then children's ministry together, where we were throwing large events and camps and VBSs that told these great stories, like God's great story. So it's been really fun to go into something that we get to be creative in together again, because we'd taken a break from that for just a little bit. So it's been really fun to do that together.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
Yeah.
That's how it should be. Whoa, that is some massive feedback right there, isn't it? Are you guys hearing feedback, or is it me?
No.
I hear it. I hear feedback. I think
I
don't know where it's coming from.
I apologize about that. So this whole thing is kind of a venture for you guys.
Mm-hmm.
How did this new venture start?
Well, like we said, we got inspired to do the book and start the book. And I was at a time period in where I needed something to change and progress. I'm like, I need a project to focus on. I need something to focus on, just kind of change the monotonous day to day, if you will. So this is kind of what we chose to do. And like I said, it became a much bigger project than we really anticipated, to where it became a full-length novel. And we decided, well, if it's going to be a novel and it's this caliber, it's not just for our kids at this point. Let's share it with the world. Let's see who else can get inspired or encouraged by it or enjoy it, and see if we can really just make it into a business venture, if you will. Because it's not just going to be just one book. We plan on making about 6 books in this series alone, and continuing this over and over. So that's kind of how it just all started. It just got bigger than we thought. It grew and it grew as we got more inspired and kept writing. At one point, I think our final book up there is about 103,000 words. I think I had it almost 140,000 words.
We had
on
to trim a lot.
Draft. We have to trim a lot out just to get down to what it is now, because it just continued to grow as our brains continued to come up with ideas and scenarios and descriptions and everything in between.
Yeah, and it really started in like a harder part of life. Like we both had COVID for Christmas and we had to cancel all of our plans. And that's hard when you have young kids and they've like waited for Christmas for weeks and weeks and weeks. And we canceled everything and we couldn't be with family. So we went camping in our trailer to a very, very remote mountain that we just found randomly.
Yep.
And we had never been there before, and we decided to go there in the middle of the night and see if there was a camping spot, and there was. And through that drive is when we literally, I just feel like God gave us the entire story. And what was supposed to just be a small kid's book has turned into, he just kept giving.
Yeah.
And then when you feel like God gave you something, how do you not share it? Like, how do you not finish the vision and do what God has put on your heart, even though it seemed completely ridiculous for us to write a book because we'd never done anything similar to that. And so it's kind of like, well, we have it. We have to be good stewards of the vision/dream that he gave us. Because what happens if you don't? Like, you're saying no to God, or, like we couldn't do that either. So it feels really silly. And even some of our friends were like, have you guys always wanted to be writers? And it's like, no. So if God does do something with this, I mean, it's completely because he did it. Like there's nothing that we can do.
Yeah.
So
I love that, but based on that story, it's a good thing you had dragons instead of a horror story. I could never just go to a mountain and let's find a place to camp. So that's how horror movies start. But speaking of dragons,
and it was in the middle of the night, and there was fog everywhere.
Oh,
and
yeah.
You could barely see. And
we're lucky they had an open campsite because we had no idea if they did or not.
yeah.
Yeah.
We're not usually that type of people either.
No, but we were so desperate to do something with
We
those
were
kids.
just COVID depressed, man.
just get out there and run around. It's okay. It's fine.
Exactly. Exactly. We made it back. So there you go.
You made it back and you wrote a book, and the book is about dragons. So why dragons?
Because they're cool.
Exactly. Who doesn't love a dragon, right?
You chose a T-Rex, but you chose dragons.
Yeah,
that's true. So yeah, no, our boys love dinosaurs.
They're
obsessed with dinosaurs. They love like toy dragons. They love like just fantasy stories and getting into that in general. I grew up on a lot of like Narnia and Tolkien. Smaug is one of my favorite characters ever from books. So it's just kind of fit the bill of why not? We love dragons, and we love writing about them and creating them, and so it was just one of those things of this fits perfectly because again our main inspiration was really our eldest son wanting to read it, and I'm like, if we don't put it in some kind of fun fantastical lizard of some kind that's then he's probably not going to be as thrilled as he could be about it. So we just catered to our audience.
And our middle son wants to be a herpetologist, and that's what he had just graduated kinder saying. And even at kinder graduation, they didn't think herpetology was a real study, and they had to look it up. And so
all the teachers are looking, what is herpetology? Is that a real thing?
It's the study of lizards. And so it fit our audience, and they got into it with us. And that's what we want to do, just create something the whole family, regardless of the age breakdown, can experience and learn through together. And we wanted something that was challenging to read because a lot of our feedback has been that kids' books are text-based sentences. But they need more than that, and they need to be challenged, and our vocabulary needs to grow. And so that was also something that we wanted to do, was not just write a book that was the here and the now, but can take place now, but can lead you to other things. So
I 100% agree with that. And my children's book characters' names are Curiosity and Encouragement. And when we first started talking about it, it was like, are you really going to want little kids to try and sound out curiosity and encouragement? And I'm like, absolutely. We need to get past those 1 and 2 syllable words so kids can actually start to develop more emotions, more brain capacity. So I mean, unfortunately, in the past few years, the what do you call that? The ability to pay attention for longer than 3 seconds, because that's the attention span of people nowadays. How do you do that? You start building up more vocabulary, more inventory.
Absolutely. Yeah, that was actually a big struggle for us with writing this, because we started writing, we started realizing that I kept using vocabulary that was kind of beyond something a 7-year-old could typically read. But also we were like, well, do we cater towards a simpler mindset in our reader, or do we challenge them to kind of grow their vocabulary, their knowledge, or ability to focus? Because a lot of today's stories are very quick text-based, like almost like a text message. It's very quick sentences, one after another, and they're not long and elegant. And like the words that I remember, the books that I grew up on, when you had like someone like Tolkien who went on forever about his descriptions. We're not going that crazy, but it's just it teaches you a lot more about sentence structure and how to structure all the different right words and adjectives and everything together to make a kind of a beautiful, more sentence of description, and you can visualize it all because you get so used to reading that. So we wanted something not to cater to what society is telling us to do, but more that would challenge them to hopefully be better as they continue to read and continue to progress in their journey.
Yeah, and have enough description to be able to like watch the movie in their head, to just be able to see all the pictures and what this world looks like is really how he writes, and just to be able to put that on paper so then they can enter into it themselves as well. And then we had a lot of young readers read our book in all of the different editing stages. And one of our young boy readers from church was actually like, you should put a glossary in the back. And so we thought about it for a little bit and we're like, we are going to put a glossary in the back. And we're just so thankful for that feedback because we hadn't had that idea yet. And so thanks to him, we did.
Yes.
I love it. I love it. And I appreciate that. Yes. Before next time, if you say, is this word too long? The answer is no. Put it in there. So you said earlier you have ideas for more books and you have a whole thing for this series. What are your goals for the series?
Ooh, that's a loaded question. Well, it's hard. I mean, it's so free flowing in the sense that like we don't know where we're necessarily going or where God's taking it. We have ideas for 6 books worth, and we have a over-encompassing story that will unfold in those books, if you will. I don't know once we start writing if it'll end up being 4 books or 8 books. I have no idea really, because we haven't gone through and have every detail of every book laid out enough, I feel like, to have that answer. We're currently going through that and really starting to lay out all of our storyline from beginning to end as much as we can. Yeah, I mean, we would love for this to be a very long, not very long, but a long enough series to have a lot of different books involved to where people can really get into the world that we've built and the characters that we're starting to develop. We've heard a lot of positive feedback from some of our readers that they just love the idea of the world and how it works, the story building, the characters. Everyone has a different favorite character, which I love. Everyone we interview has, this person's my favorite, no, this person, and they're all across the board. It just depends on who you identify with best. But as an overall goal, we just want to hopefully be able to at least finish this storyline in the sense that it will hopefully just inspire and encourage a lot of people as they go through it with our characters that we've created. And then also maybe even just starting our own, publishing house, if you will, of books that are just that encouraging books that parents can trust, that have good values, that you don't have to worry about them being exposed to something that's too dark or too evil, or you don't know what your kids are reading, which are half the books out there these days is what we've really come to notice we don't like. So we're trying to do that. It's family friendly. It's safe to read to the kids or have the kids to read. At the same time, anyone from any age can enjoy it and completely get enthralled with the adventure, the mystery, and really come along into the story with us.
That's awesome. But just to let you know, you have a publishing house.
We know. That's why I didn't want to say that part.
I wouldn't even say so much a publishing house, but like
brand company.
Yeah, a brand of books that people just know that they can trust.
Yes.
And like a website to go to that does a lot of different types of literature that are hard to find, if that makes sense. I mean, now our kids are all into writing books and their friends are into writing books, and it would be really fun to quickly and simply get their books on the market so kids can read other kids' books and just know that these are stories that can uplift one another and glorify God in the process and maybe teach a little bit about God or how to be a Christian in this climate in the process. So
that's awesome. That's awesome. I love it. So I see you guys are a lot about messages and how you want your messages to be portrayed and the dynamics of the characters that you are creating and the goals of everything. But what message do you want your readers to know?
That's a great question. Well, I think our readers are 2-part. We have the readers that are younger that we're trying to build a safe, wonderful story for that they can fully enjoy. And then we have the readers who are either adults themselves or parents of kids. So I know for the parents of the kids, we want them to know they can trust that we're not going to go too dark, too deep, too evil, not have things that they don't want their kids to be exposed to in our books. So where they can trust us and our conservative values, I feel like we have been raising our kids on and we were raised on. And for our young readers, we want them to really be able to, as the story progresses and you see what these characters are going to go through, each one of them, to kind of identify with one of the characters in the sense of knowing that God has a specific purpose for them. And although you may not see it and when it will come out, that you will definitely be given that opportunity to serve, whether you know that that's your chance or not, or whether you feel called to it in the moment. There's so many opportunities that our characters get in the books that they're going to go through, that they help serve in a certain way to get to a certain goal that they don't even see coming. And that's kind of the way God usually, tends to use his people, is they are not ready. Just like we weren't ready to write a book, they don't have a skill set in that. And he can still say, I don't care. I'm going to use you. I'm going to pick you out. And I feel like that's what God's done with us. And I feel like that's what we're trying to convey in our story, as you pick your characters that you follow around and realize they're all needed for this all to come to conclusion.
Not just the main character, because we're not all the characters that get the publicity, right? But like each of us is making the ripples that we need to make. And so that's just a big part of what we want this. No matter which one you identify with as a student or a parent, they were all integral in like the overall plan of the story. And it couldn't have happened without them. And I really feel like that's how God sees all of us as well. So
each individual thread in the tapestry, you don't realize the thread until you actually step back from the whole picture and see everything that it is.
Exactly.
And awesome. All of the dragons also, they were each very special. They all had their own attributes, their own characteristics, which was very important too. They each
and that will keep being the case in future books as well.
I want to go back to what your goals are for the series, and I'm just going to shout it out because I want to see this made into some kind of like movie or television series or something that you see on screen with epic music. And I built some ads for you guys. I don't know if you had seen them. That
Susan's been sharing. They look great.
Thank you. Yeah. That whole dragon spewing the fire and everything and the epic beats in the background. I was like excited about that. I want to see this on screen. So I just wanted to go back on that one.
Well, Stephen, if you got some kind of friends in high places or something, feel free to put a shout out. That's fine. Yeah. We don't mind.
I wish. I hope so. But I will tell you, I'm actually trying to build towards that for my own personal series, the Curiosity Encouragement Pet series. So yeah, you know what? I think it goes hand in hand with that. Where if I get a hookup, I'll definitely send it your way.
Well, you know what? We're talking, and we got the lady who has a hookup right next to us. Susan, how's your project going? I hear your book's becoming a film or a series, right?
Oh, you're on mute.
My microphone on. Miniseries. I hope that's where I'm headed with it. And yeah, I do have a producer, and she does produce the kinds of films that your book would fall into that category. Faith-based is what the category really is. So yeah, believe me, I'll be talking to her.
Well, congratulations. That's a fun outcome that I know a lot of us think, hey, what if, but for it to actually come to fruition is, quite the undertaking.
Probably 3 or 4 years from now, maybe. I don't know how long, but it takes a while to make a movie. So.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah. Well, congratulations. That's wonderful.
Looks like you guys have some fans out there. Missy Amber says, yay.
Yay. They were our first editor readers.
Yes.
Our first family that dove into it every night, and her sending us screenshots of all of our typoed little words that we misspelled and different things. And so they're like our biggest fans.
And her sons ask great questions. They were so intuitive.
They're going to be our future editors one day. And they already have our merch. We've made them shirts and everything. So
very nice. And Carrie Berg is on there.
Yep.
Yes. Hello, my sister. Hear a little bit of feedback. So, Carrie, if you want to type something other than yes, I hear the feedback too, then I can post it on the screen and you can show up in the podcast here.
She's my sister, so she's very good at picking out the one thing that's wrong. No, I'm just kidding. She's been a great support from the beginning. Whenever I finish new chapter, she's always bugging me like, when's the next chapter coming out? So she's been a wonderful support on this journey for us as we've been writing it.
She's been asking for the second book since before we met Susan. So
Nice.
It's been a long time.
Very nice. So you guys met in church and church on everything like that. In this day and age, there's a lot of, I would say, like inconsistency and a lot of disbelief and a lot of things that are like kind of just all over the map, and people don't really know what's going on things. So during this whole time, what is the best advice that you've received?
Ooh. Are you talking like life in church? You're talking about our journey with the book, because those are two very different things.
Yeah.
All right. I'll just say yes.
Okay.
Right. Got it.
Well, I have one. If you don't know what to say yet.
I'll think for a sec.
I was not personally given this advice. So my mom passed away several years ago. And one of the Facebook posts that my cousin was really close with my mom, and a Facebook post popped up and she shared it with me because she forgot she ever wrote it about my mom. And it was about advice my mom gave to her. And it happened during this process at like the perfect time for me. And I guess one day they were at a wedding together and she was just talking about child care for her kids while she was at this wedding, and just how life is crazy and there's too much going on and she feels like she's getting lost and just all of this stuff. And my mom just sat her down and like prayed for her and just said, like, there is a season for everything and God provides what you need in that season. So just be in the season you're in and don't rush out of it and don't mourn for the season you left. Just be where God has you and watch for him supplying in that season. And I got that advice through an old Facebook post that my cousin did about my mom in the very season that I needed it in. So it was just really cool to get that advice when I needed it, because things are crazy. We're homeschooling for the first time and he's working, but we're trying to also make a giant book and, volunteering still a ton at church and with our co-op group, and just life is busy and it's great. But it's easy to lose yourself or forget to enjoy the season you're in, and that God made you for this specific season, and to show up for it and not just get through it, basically. So that was mine.
I like that.
You're welcome. Did I give you enough time to think?
Sure. I came up with one thing
that
my brain wandered throughout. No, but I guess for me, it'd just be through this whole journey. And I think we touched on it earlier, actually, a little bit. Just the fact that, and we talked about at church, one of our sermons a couple months ago, that, God uses those who are willing but not ready. And we were willing. We're always praying. We're always saying, make sure we're in his will. But I didn't feel, ready. I feel like, if anything, book writing and everything else is kind of a weakness of mine. I'm kind of a dyslexic, ADHD kind of brain. So it's like, you wouldn't think that being an author is anything that we could do. Yet God's like, yeah, I'll use whatever you're willing to give us. And so that advice of, being willing and open and never having, that doubt that God can use you, and being open for whatever he has in store, and just going with the flow of what he inspires. And then, here we are actually having our first book release, and hopefully not last. So it's been amazing to go into it knowing that, like, no matter what it is that you feel like you struggle with or are your weaknesses, those are just opportunities God will exploit.
Because it gives him the glory instead of giving us the glory. If there are weaknesses, if we're great at something, like, we don't need him for it, or that's what we think as people. But he is using something that we were not good at, and that we actually were not just not good at, but felt very insecure.
Oh, absolutely.
And hopefully just using it for his glory.
Yeah,
so
that's awesome. That was beautiful.
I think the whole time that Susan was reading our book, we kept saying, Susan, you got to have more for us. We don't know what we're doing.
Yeah. Yeah. We're like, what?
Speaking of more,
Yeah. Even the first draft of your book was excellent. It kept my attention, and I am not a fantasy lover, so it was very good.
And to contribute to that, you saw what I would call like the fourth or fifth draft. We were so blessed with support from our friends and family and other people who had read it prior, picked out mistakes or questions or things that weren't clear, and we got to smooth it out a little bit even before you got to see it. Because we've had just such an amazing, we've been blessed so much with just support from those people who really love us and want to see us succeed. So we couldn't have done it. This book is a culmination of not just us, but so many other dozens of people who had their hands in it as well.
Perfect transition, because Carrie says, BJ and Sheri are awesome writers, siblings, and friends.
Oh, I'm going to frame that quote.
Yeah.
If you're going to frame that one, she's going to say,
said about you.
Even though there it is.
She also thinks that Omni
There it
is
is.
the most lovable dragon ever.
A true sibling.
And that the sister
He
did quite
is. He's so cute.
too.
Oh, she did. Yes, she did.
Yes.
Boy, she said a lot.
She did. She was there. But Patricia also said that we're big fans.
Yes, there's my mom.
They have to be. They're his parents.
I'm sorry.
Thank you, Mom.
Sometimes the perfect transition just happens. I
right?
Trying to fit it in there.
There you go. Hey, God has a will.
That was some great advice received, but what is the greatest advice that you can actually give to people out there?
Ooh. I mean, for me on this journey, it's just to just take a breath, reground yourself, and don't be overwhelmed with the what ifs, and just go with it. Have fun with it. You know, we know other people who are, dabbled in writing as well. And it's so hard to start the book. It's so hard to get past those little, hiccups where you don't know where to go next. It's so hard to finish. And then when you're finished, it's so hard to push to even get it published and everything. There's so many steps where you just feel like you give up, you're too tired to push on. And just, God can do amazing things regardless. You got to bring your own insecurities out of it and just give it to him and say, I'm doing it for you, not for us. And then because of that, have the courage to push for that. Because there's so many times where I walked away from the book for 2 or 3 months and then said, I have to finish this and see it through. And it was hard, or I would get stuck and go, I don't know where to go with this, or I have to rewrite this whole chapter because this doesn't make sense or isn't the way I wanted to go with it. And so just give it to him, get your own insecurities out. And because if I listened to my own insecurities, we wouldn't have a book. We wouldn't be meeting right now. So just give it to him and push on for him, not for yourself, and see what he can do through you.
Yeah.
That's great.
So it's kind of the same thing, but you were created on purpose with a purpose. But you have to be willing to say yes and take the yeses and just push forward, regardless of the insecurities, and just any roadblock that might come, because if we counted all the roadblocks in the last 2 years, there's been a lot.
Oh man.
But there is a purpose, and you don't know until you're in it. And we might not ever know it, but there is a purpose and a plan, and we were created on purpose for a purpose. So, yeah.
Amen.
Yeah.
Amen. I love it. One of the things that I always tell my kids is that how does the ant eat the elephant? And they always give a little giggle, like, ants don't eat elephants, Dad. And I go, yes, they do. They eat it one bite at a time.
Yep.
And that's all it takes, especially when you're coming to write a book. It's just one bite at a time, one step. And then when you get towards the end and you look back, you're like, look at everything we went through. Look at all the struggles. Look at all the roadblocks. Look at everything that we've done. And all of a sudden we can have it here, and it's like, boom.
That's so true. I remember it wasn't that long ago really, but like I wrote the entire book minus the last chapter. And for some reason that last chapter felt so daunting, by the time like I got around to it again, I'm like, can I even write anymore? Like, is this a one and done and I have no more creative juices in me? And so it's just, I'm like, you're at the end, you still want to stop. Yeah. It's like, no, just you gotta sit down, just take that one bite at a time and find that motivation to get through it. Because it came out fine, but it's just getting past yourself, getting past your brain, getting past those emotions. My head is always spinning with self-doubt and everything else. And so it's been a journey of self just as much as it has been starting this entire project.
Well, and even before the book, because I don't know, I'm going to share it. I'm sorry if you don't like it.
I don't know what you're going to
say. Like BJ is the person that when we had kids, like 9 years ago when Bruce was born, it's like wouldn't even necessarily read out loud a nursery rhyme book or, just a book before bed just because of the dyslexia and different things like that. And him just pushing through being like, I'm not going to be the dad that won't read my kids' books and just making himself do it. And now look what he's written. I mean, it's just so cool what's so different in 9 years.
That is an awesome story.
One thing we haven't mentioned, one thing I wanted to bring up, we haven't talked about Sheri's artistic skills.
Oh, yes. Yes.
I didn't know about Sheri's artistic skills, or I would have brought it up.
She is what I would like to consider our main illustrator, obviously. I know the cover, she came up with the basic design of the entire cover of the book. We had Olin, one of our illustrators, help with a little bit of like the softening and drawing of it. And then Sheri actually went by and did a lot more like highlights and changing a couple things and reformatting a couple of things. And then she did every illustration in the book.
Except for the map.
Oh, except for the map, yes. By hand with pencil. And then we ended up scanning them in. Which is, she's just amazing when it comes to art and what she can do with her hands and everything else. I don't know how she does it. But yes, I helped a little more on the map, which is probably why it is not our favorite of all of them. But no, she did some amazing illustrations in the book and just giving some key visual elements as you go through the story that helps you understand what they're saying, what they're seeing, what they're holding, to give you a little bit more of an idea of how it all comes together.
Well, Carrie says that you're a very gifted artist, especially in drawing pencil.
Absolutely.
Carrie, you are very supportive. That's awesome, man. I'm liking you out there.
Right? Don't let it go to her head. Just
No, she is our main go-to babysitter. So when we're super stuck or anything, we're like, can you please come watch The Voice so we can talk about something? And our kids are now so into the book that we can't talk about it in front of them, or they're gonna give away clues to their friends. Oh yeah. And so we can't have those open discussions as if like, what if this happened to Omni, or what if Miles did this, or because they think it's true and then they just go tell everybody because they're so excited. So we have to be really close-lipped for the next couple books.
Absolutely.
And that's some advice for the young ones out there. Loose lips sink ships. No spoilers.
Exactly.
Here at Shining with Curiosity and Encouragement, when 2025 rolled around, we decided that we weren't going to make resolutions, but we were going to make gratitudes. But before we get into gratitudes, one of the things that we want to ask our guests is, what was the lowest point in your life and how did you recover?
Just going straight
That's
deep.
Good. That's a deep question.
Yeah.
I know you have yours, obviously, ready to go.
Probably. I want to know yours, though.
I'm still thinking about
Is it the same as mine? I think they're the same.
Probably, yeah. I'm assuming.
Yeah.
So, has it really been 6 years? Mm-hmm. Okay. So about 6 years ago, Sheri's mom, Shirley, who is an amazing woman of God, ended up passing. And that was a game changer in so many ways for us. She was one of our biggest supporters by far, helping to raise our kids and guide our kids. So losing her was losing a big part of our lives. We live 6 houses away from her dad and where Shirley used to live. And so now her dad's obviously still there, a great supporter. We love having him close, but we very much miss her. She was in our lives daily, was probably my wife's best friend, my second mom. She was, she really helped uplift us, support us, encourage us, and everything in between. And so losing her changed a lot, both in our normal routines of who we had available and who was here, and then also just losing really one of our biggest friends and someone who constantly encouraged us. So we're still, even I'd say, every once in a while dealing with the emotions of that loss. But God has really helped bring so many supportive people into our lives to help in different ways, as we also kind of deal with that loss and figure out what, how to continue life on without her being present, because she was there for the birth of all our kids except one.
2 of them.
Yeah. And we didn't know what we were doing when we had a kid. And so she has so much advice and so much help. I remember we were so sleep deprived, and she would come over and spend the night and hold our kid as he cried so we could actually sleep, and everything in between. So we really miss her. But we've been teaching our kids so much that it's not, the loss is there and it's going to hurt, but you have to remember to be thankful for the time you had, and to remember the memories and the good times, and be thankful they're there. No one would trade the good times just to get rid of those bad emotions. The bad emotions are worth going through to remember those good moments, those good memories, and the people you love.
When I thinking about how you recover from it is counting the answered prayers, whether they were answered in the ways that you want or not. Because of course you would pray for like healing, right? But counting all the prayers that were answered in ways that were graceful, or ways that could bring others joy. So that's how I recover from it. And no, I'm still dealing with the grief of it. And within the same, year and a half when my mom passed away, my dad got diagnosed with cancer, like my job changed, like lost a baby, like just lots of things, right? So within all of that happening very closely, you just have to hold to like the graces that come and the prayers that have been answered, and just move in that, because God's not changed, and they all have answers. It's just a matter of making sure you pay attention to the right ones. So, absolutely.
Do you know what I absolutely adore about you guys is that you guys actually have humility. This best-selling book, this beautifully written book, and you got people who support you, and you just have this grace and humility about yourselves that I absolutely adore. And I hope that anybody watching out there shows you as an example of that. Like, yes, things are hard, things are difficult, things are, struggle sometimes, but at the same time, things are hopeful and things look up. You're just feeling good about it and everything. I appreciate you guys on there. Thank you for sharing that.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Before we go into our next steps, is there anything that you wish to share with our viewers about how they can get in contact with you, find out more about your books, and get educated on upcoming releases?
Absolutely. So we do have a website that's live if you want to go in. It's kind of a made-up word from the book, so it's going to be hard to, I'll spell it out for you, but it's www.ensearedbooks.com. Enseared being spelled ENSEARED books.com. And that's where we're kind of making our own brand, our own company, if you will, of making books that hopefully are very much quality that could uphold in today's society while still being safe and trusted with good morals that parents love for their kids if they want to go and venture in there. We're going to obviously be adding more books as this, progresses for us. We'll be doing updates there. And we also have social media pages as well that Sheri has set up, both on Instagram and on Facebook. So feel free to follow us there, as we will continue to give updates as we write more, get closer, possibly do giveaways or things like that, and give as much information as we can about our journey and what's to come next.
Beautiful. And I'll send that over to me, and I'll post that into the video when it posts on Facebook. So people can just click on it and find you guys and do all that.
That's good.
You also have another fan in Amy Van Leeuwen.
Oh,
I'm so proud of these two.
Thank you, Amy.
I've heavily enjoyed this interview. Thank you so much for coming on this.
So, yeah, Amy's my aunt, so a lot of family members are apparently watching right now.
Yeah.
That's awesome. That is so awesome. You guys have so much love and joy there that just you feel it on there.
Oh yeah, we're very grateful.
Mm-hmm.
Going to change the background here. We're going to get a little more happy and thoughtful and say,
I like it.
What do you have gratitude for?
Oh, well, where do you start? Lose count. First and foremost, at least with this process, the support. We have had so much support and so much love from our friends, our family members. People have been along this journey for the past 2 years with us. And then even this past week, 1 week from today, or, 1 week ago from today, we launched a book for the first time, and just seeing what God wanted to do with it and sharing it with those who love us. And they did exactly what they always do. They loved us. And they went out there and they bought it, they shared it, they supported us. And that's how it got on those bestseller lists, was just because of the amazing love and support that they gave us. Even though a lot of times, because we're so busy, we don't have the time to keep up with these people through life and communicate with them. They're not in our lives on a daily, weekly, even monthly or yearly basis. Some of these people we haven't talked to in a decade. And they still came out and supported us and loved us, understanding that our lives are busy with work, job, kids, and everything in between. And just, it's been amazing to see that God's love has really built this community of people around us that will forever be there to support us. And we are just so grateful for that. Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
Well, you stole mine.
Sorry.
Besides that, besides like the network, I just think just God's really blessed our family. I mean, our kids are great, and so far we've been really healthy, and just very thankful for the time where we're in, and just me getting to be home with them. And that's a blessing and a struggle all at the same time. But just really getting to know who they are and how God has made them and what they need, and be able to shape that and have them reflect the things that we're putting into their lives, either for good or bad. And, instead of just reflecting others, that it's like, where did you get that? Or where did you get that? Like, they get to be the best and worst mirrors of us. So, but grateful for that opportunity.
That's awesome. You have one more fan out there that says Jerry Mendenhall.
Oh, that's my uncle.
Yep. See, like we said, that support network of people who are there for us, supporting us, loving us. Doesn't matter if they're halfway across the country or not. They're even right now, they're showing up in the chat, because we can't stress enough how much support we've had. And this venture and this book's success and everything else isn't just us two. It's every single person who's had that that hand in the cookie jar, if you will. It's our dear friends who read the book and gave us feedback, the people who read the book, like my parents and sister, who helped edit the book and find all those errors, and Missy, who I think showed up earlier. And there's so many people who have just come together and said, yeah, sure, we'll support you in this, and we think and believe you can do it, even when we didn't believe we can do it. So it's just showing up right there in the comments, even with all the people who are chiming in with all the support. So just thank you, everyone, for what you've done, because we wouldn't be here if it wasn't for you.
Awesome. Well, I want to thank you guys for coming on the show with us, spending your Sunday evening and just telling us more about it. Congratulations on the book release and the best-selling status, and
thank you.
Everything that you guys are building up for. And I'm thankful now that you guys had made mention that there could be a potential that the kids could come running out, and you know what? They didn't. They stayed placed.
I know.
Right? They ran up and downstairs a couple of times, but they were off camera, so it's fine.
Well, we wouldn't mind getting to meet them.
No, we wouldn't mind.
Oh, I know.
But they just like to talk more than we do. Yes. So it would be like a 2-hour program, that they came on.
Yes. And they would all talk at once. I'm sure that would go over great on something audio like this.
Yeah.
I understand completely. Well, again, thank you for coming on the show. To our viewers out there, that I guess we want to thank Missy and Carrie and Patricia and Amy and Jerry for showing up and supporting you guys. You guys are definitely part of making things better and wonderful, and just thank you for coming on, man. I really enjoyed this. I really enjoyed this. Go ahead and hang out in the lobby for a few minutes afterwards and wrap up the show, and we'll talk.
Thank you, Susan. Thank you, Stephen.
Thank you.
We appreciate it.
Thank you. Thank you, guys.
Thank you, guys. Well, that was absolutely amazing. Absolutely amazing.
Yeah.
I love hearing stories of people just like that out there, where overcoming, and then you create this and just, oh, that was so much fun.
Yeah. Making a positive impact in the world. You know, there's so much out there that needs to have a positive impact on it, to change it for the better, especially for kids. And I so appreciate them. You know, I so appreciate what they're doing. It's just really a blessing to have those kinds of books available for kids, so they don't have to get into something that's, you know, too dark for them, especially at young ages.
Yeah, absolutely agree. And I look forward to all the future books and everything that's going to come from it, and bringing them on again for another podcast later, and just everything about it is absolutely, I cannot wait.
Yep. Yeah.
Well, I want to thank everybody.
I can't hardly wait. I was going to say, I can't wait until the movie comes out.
Yeah, I agree. I agree. Well, I want to thank everybody for joining us this Sunday evening on Shine with Curiosity and Encouragement podcast. Be sure to join us next week for another episode. Until then, I hope you guys all have a safe, wonderful, and happy week. And we'll see you guys next week. Take care.
Hi, are you an author in the middle of self-publishing your next book? Somewhere along the process, you've probably heard about creating an audiobook. You've been encouraged to make an audiobook. You know friends who've made the investment in creating an audiobook, but you can't bring yourself to get started because getting into the technical weeds just seems too daunting. But what if we could take that all away? What if we could remove 90% of the technical barriers, so all you would have to do is show up to the microphone and record? Or maybe you don't want to record your own audiobook. That's totally fine too. We have an experienced team of professional narrators that would love to audition for your audiobook. Our Done For You service guarantees that you will have a professionally produced audiobook ready for commercial release. If you're ready to get started today, please click the link below and schedule a free call. We can't wait to hear from you and to get started on your project.